In a quiet forest near the mountains lived a deer known throughout the woods for his gentle nature. He never fought, never shouted, never pushed. Even when monkeys stole fruit from his mouth or wild boars bullied smaller animals near the river, the deer simply stepped away peacefully. The parrots praised him. "What wisdom," they said. The rabbits admired him. "He has conquered anger," they whispered. And slowly, the deer himself began to believe he was different from the other animals. "I choose peace," he would often say. "Violence only creates more violence." Beside him lived his mate. Unlike the deer, she was quiet, practical, and observant. She rarely argued with his ideas, but sometimes she watched him silently with eyes that carried unspoken questions. One summer evening, the two walked toward the river to drink water before nightfall. The forest was unusually quiet. As they approached the river bank, a large wild boar emerged from the bushes. His body was covered with old scars, and one broken tusk curved upward like a knife. The boar blocked their path. "Move away," he growled. The deer lowered his head politely. "We only came for water," he said softly. "We do not want trouble." But the boar stepped closer. I said, "Move." Then suddenly, with brutal force, the boar shoved the doe sideways against a rock. She cried out in pain. The deer froze. His legs trembled. His throat tightened. Every instinct inside him screamed to run. The boar stepped closer to the deer again and snorting heavily. And then something happened the deer would never forget. The doe slowly stood up and stepped in front of him, protecting him. The boar stared at them for a moment, then laughed cruelly and walked away toward the river. For several seconds, the deer could not move. On the walk home, shame burned inside him like fire. But he tried to bury it beneath words. "Wise animals avoid foolish fights," he said quietly. "If I had fought him, things could have become worse." The doe said nothing. Her silence hurt more than anger. That night, the deer could not sleep. For the first time in his life, his peaceful sayings sounded empty inside his own mind. Over the next few days, the memory refused to leave him. He remembered the doe standing in front of him. He remembered his own fear. He remembered doing nothing. Then one evening, while resting beneath a tree, the deer overheard two monkeys speaking nearby. "He is the gentlest deer in the forest," one monkey said. The other gave a quiet laugh. "Sometimes animals appear gentle," he said, "only because they are too afraid to be anything else." The words entered the deer's heart like a poisoned thorn. He tried to walk away as though he had heard nothing. But that night, sleep would not come. Again and again, he saw the doe standing before him near the river, while he himself stood frozen behind her. Until finally, a terrible thought rose within him. I couldn't protect my doe. Because I was a coward, I couldn't fight. All along, I have been hiding my fear and cowardice under the cover of beautiful sayings about goodness and wisdom. From that day, something inside the deer began to weaken. He stopped speaking much. He stopped wandering through the forest. Even food slowly lost its taste. Sometimes he would stand silently beside the river for hours, staring at his own reflection as though searching for someone he no longer recognized. The doe watched him quietly. She never mocked him, never blamed him, that made his suffering even heavier. Days passed, then weeks. The strong legs that once carried him swiftly through the forest became thin and weak. His eyes lost their brightness. The other animals whispered that illness had entered him. But the old owl, watching from above, understood the truth. The deer was not dying from sickness. He was dying from shame. One cold evening, the doe found him lying beneath the same tree where he had overheard the monkeys. For a long time, neither of them spoke. At last, the deer said quietly, "All my life, I believed I was good." His voice trembled. But when fear came, goodness disappeared. The doe lowered her head sadly beside him. The deer looked toward the dark forest one final time. And slowly, like a fading shadow at sunset, his breathing stopped. For many years afterward, the old owl would tell young animals, "Being kind is good. Being peaceful is good. But if your goodness disappears the moment danger comes, then maybe it was only fear all along." Thanks for your patience in watching the video. I hope you liked it. Please subscribe to my channel. Raj Rishi.